Snow chances are increasing across multiple regions this week into next weekend. That includes areas of the south. Let me be clear from the start. What I'm showing you today are model runs, not forecasts. But these model runs make sense given the pattern we're entering. The European model from overnight showed significant winter weather developing Wednesday, January 14th, into Thursday the 15th. Rain falling across the Mid-South and Ohio Valley. Snow in the Great Lakes. As we move into Thursday morning, the 15th, snow develops across Middle Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, and western North Carolina. The higher elevations of the Smokies and southern Appalachian Mountains see heavier accumulations. The model shows an Appalachian crusher scenario by Thursday afternoon. Heavy snow across the central and southern Appalachian Mountains. Snow continuing in Middle Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Georgia. Some snow breaks out across the Piedmont. Eastern Kentucky, southern Ohio, West Virginia, and Virginia see significant snowfall. New England and the Northeast get accumulating snow as well. By Thursday evening, snow spreads into northern South Carolina and the Piedmont regions. The Appalachian Mountains continue to see heavy snow. A coastal low-pressure system develops, bringing moisture. By Friday morning, the model shows snow across North Carolina, an all-out snowstorm across Virginia, the Delmarva Peninsula, and portions of the Tidewater. The system eventually brings accumulating snow to Boston and down East Maine into Atlantic Canada. That's the first time frame. The second time frame arrives next weekend, Martin Luther King weekend. Friday afternoon shows light snow showers across northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, northern Arkansas, Missouri, and Illinois. By Friday evening, snow showers spread across the Mid-South, as far south as Atlanta. Not a forecast, just showing you what the model is depicting. Saturday, January 17th, 6 days from now, multiple areas of energy drop down. Nothing consolidates into a major storm, but snow flies around South Carolina, North Carolina, western areas of the Carolinas, the Mid-South, and Ohio Valley. Some models even show snow in eastern Texas. By next Sunday morning, a week from today, the model depicts snow in the low country of South Carolina and as far south as northeast Florida. The latest Euro run from this morning backed off slightly compared to overnight. I would not call it a trend. One run does not make a trend. You need consecutive runs showing the same solution. The energy shifted somewhat, which affects the details, but the overall pattern remains favorable for winter weather. The GFS model has been more aggressive than the European model lately. This is interesting because 10 to 15 years ago, the Euro was typically more reliable. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Both models have strengths and weaknesses. Right now, they're showing similar patterns but with different details on timing and intensity. For Wednesday the 14th into Thursday the 15th, the GFS shows heavy snow across the Appalachian Mountains, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the Mid-South. It develops a stronger coastal system than the Euro, bringing more snow to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. The GFS ensemble members show considerable spread, meaning there's uncertainty in the exact track and intensity. The Canadian model also shows winter weather potential for this time frame. It's closer to the GFS solution than the Euro. Again, these are model runs 7 days out. Details will change. What matters is the pattern, and the pattern is shifting. We're moving into a more favorable setup for winter weather, even for southern locations. The trough deepens across the eastern United States. Cold air pushes south. Multiple shortwaves embedded in the trough provide lift and moisture. That's the recipe for winter storms. The 500 millibar pattern shows a deep trough digging into the central and eastern U.S., strong vorticity maxima rotating through the base of the trough. Upper-level divergence ahead of these features. That supports surface low development. The jet stream positioning favors cyclogenesis along the coast or just inland. Temperature profiles support snow at elevations above 2,000 feet in the south and at lower elevations further north. The thermal profiles are marginal near the coast and in lower elevations of the Carolinas. That's where rain versus snow becomes critical. Small shifts in track change precipitation type dramatically in those zones. Now, let's talk about what happens after Martin Luther King weekend. The pattern doesn't just shut off. The latest Euro run maintains below normal temperatures from January 15th through the 26th. That's during the climatologically coldest time of year. Late January is when most of the lower 48 sees its coldest temperatures on average. The extended range shows the trough persisting across the eastern U.S. A ridge tries to build briefly around January 20th or 21st, but it doesn't last. The trough reestablishes. Some model runs show significant winter storm potential in late January. That's very far out. Take it with appropriate skepticism. But the pattern supports continued winter weather threats. The Madden-Julian oscillation provides additional context. We've moved out of what some call the circle of death, the low-amplitude phases where the MJO has minimal impact on weather patterns. Right now we're in Phase 6 or 7. We're forecast to move through Phase 7 and into Phase 8 by late January. Phase 8, along with Phases 1 and 2, are more favorable for winter weather across the central and eastern United States. If we can stay in Phase 8 for a couple weeks in late January and early February, the models should trend colder and more winter-like. Multiple winter weather threats become possible, even for southern areas. The key is staying in Phase 8. We don't want to immediately cycle back into the low-amplitude phases. That would reduce the MJO's influence on our weather pattern. The forecast suggests we'll remain in favorable phases through the end of January. That's encouraging for winter weather enthusiasts. Early December was cold and wintry for many areas. Virginia and points north saw significant winter weather. If it didn't snow at your location, you might not remember it that way, but it was a solid start to winter for much of the eastern U.S. Don't write off the entire winter based on what happened or didn't happen at your specific location. Let's address the uncertainty. These are 7-day forecasts transitioning into 10-day and 2-week outlooks. Uncertainty increases with time. What we're seeing is a pattern favorable for winter weather. The exact details, timing, snowfall amounts, locations that see significant impacts, all of that remains uncertain. That's normal at this range. Model runs will shift from day to day. That's expected. What matters is the overall trend. Are we seeing a consistent signal for cold air and active weather? Yes. Are the models in perfect agreement on details? No. Will they ever be? Also no. You need to look at the body of work. One model run doesn't tell the story. Look at multiple models. Look at ensemble members. Watch for trends over several consecutive runs. That's model maturity. It prevents overreacting to individual model runs that might be outliers. For the first time frame, Wednesday into Friday this week, the highest confidence is for snow in the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountains. The Ohio Valley and Great Lakes region also have good chances for accumulating snow. The Mid-South, including Middle Tennessee, northern Alabama, and northern Mississippi, could see snow, especially in elevated areas. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast have potential for a coastal storm Thursday into Friday. Whether that develops, and how strong it becomes, depends on energy phasing and coastal low development. That's still uncertain. The ingredients are there. Execution remains to be seen. For areas hoping for snow along the I-95 corridor from Washington to Boston, this system has potential. But it's not a lock. Coastal storms are notoriously difficult to forecast at this range. Small changes in track mean the difference between rain, snow, or missing the storm entirely. For the Carolinas and Georgia, this is a marginal setup. The mountains will see snow, lower elevations might see snow, especially if everything comes together perfectly. But warm air near the surface could mean rain or a mix. Elevation matters significantly in these marginal setups. Next weekend's system, the Martin Luther King weekend timeframe, shows even more uncertainty. The pattern supports winter weather. Multiple pieces of energy move through the trough. Whether they phase together into a significant storm or remain separate weaker systems, that's unclear. The potential exists. Confidence is lower because we're looking 9 to 10 days out. What should you do with this information? If you're in an area that could see winter weather, start thinking about preparations, not panic buying. Just normal winter readiness. Make sure you have supplies. Check your heat source. Ensure you have food and water for a few days, especially if you're in an area that doesn't handle winter weather well. For elderly individuals and those with health conditions, temperature swings and winter weather pose additional challenges. Make sure vulnerable family members and neighbors are prepared. Check on them. Offer assistance if needed. If you live in the mountains of the South, you know winter weather is possible. You've seen it before. This pattern increases those chances. Stay informed. Watch updated forecasts as we get closer. For areas further north that regularly deal with winter weather, This is just another winter system. Prepare as you normally would. The uncertainty isn't whether you'll see winter weather this month, it's the specific timing and intensity of individual systems. Don't expect pinpoint forecasts a week out. It's not possible. What we can tell you is the pattern is shifting. Cold air is arriving. Multiple systems will move through. Some will bring winter weather. The details will become clearer as we get closer. Keep watching the forecasts. Pay attention to official sources like the National Weather Service. They'll issue watches and warnings as confidence increases and timeframes narrow. Those are your action triggers. One more thing about the late January pattern. Climate data shows late January is statistically our coldest time of year. If we're trending below normal during that period, it could be quite cold. Not just cold for January. Cold period. Combined with an active pattern that increases winter storm potential significantly. The bottom line, snow chances are increasing for multiple regions over the next week to 10 days. The pattern supports it. The models show it. Uncertainty exists in the details. That's normal. Stay informed. Be prepared. Don't overreact to individual model runs. We'll continue monitoring this closely. Model runs will change. The forecast will evolve. That's how meteorology works. By midweek, we'll have much better clarity on the first system. By next weekend, we'll know more about the Martin Luther King weekend potential. This is an evolving situation. Winter weather forecasting requires patience and understanding of uncertainty. The ingredients are coming together. How it all plays out remains to be seen.